sold in 2007. You sold SmartBear
Yeah,
in 2007,
right.
which of course we all know what happened in 2008. Describe
Yeah.
the box game. That's a fun thing for I think our listeners to understand.
Yeah. So the idea is, I'm trying to think. I don't know which one was in what exact parameters I put in that post, but and there's many forms of this, but in one box there's $5 million. Cool. In the other box there's either 0 or $10 million. 50-50. I'm telling you, it's a 50-50. And so you obviously can't see inside the boxes, but I'm telling you, box A is the one with 5, box B is the one where it's a 50-50. Which box do you want? And you only get to pick once. Now there's several things that this does which I find interesting. The first one is there's people who are just immediately like, oh, box A, which is kind of what I was doing, right? I was saying, like, take the bird in the hand. It could be more or less. Obviously, I'm simplifying the more or less because in real life, obviously, it's not 0 or double. But the point of the game is to simplify the complex decision. And there's people who will always want to roll the dice. They're like, you only live once, blah, blah, blah. All right. Okay. Now, what's interesting about that, the probabilities there is when you use what economists call expected value, they're the same. Because one's $5 million, the other one's worth 0 or 10, equal proportion. So the quote unquote expected value or weighted average is 5 million. What this does is show you that the concept of the weighted average or the concept of expected value is useless, and you should not think about that. And economists are incorrect that anyone makes decisions based on that. Wrong. Because according to that, these are identical scenarios. They are not identical at all. And when you're faced with it in real life, it is a decision. It's not like, I don't care, they're the same to me. No one says that. It's, either you know what you want or you can't decide, but no one thinks they're identical. So the economists are wrong. Do not use that. To use technical terms, it's non-ergodic. And economists think that we act like everything's ergodic, which this is a good example of. It means, fancy way of saying, if you were to run this experiment a million times, these would be the outcomes. But in real life, you're not running it a million times. So is running it once the same as running it millions of times? Does the same kind of outcomes happen? In this case, the answer is no. Because in this case, there's a scenario where you get 0. If you run it a million times and you take the average, it'll never be 0. It'll be about 5. So it is true that if you were run this millions of times and you get the group average as your result, they are the same. You really don't care. And in real life, that's not true. And so real life is not like that. Real life is not true that the group average or if you were to run it many times average is not the same thing as doing it once. And most things in life you do once. You make your company once, you sell your company once, etc. So it's not like that at all. Another really funny example, just on the little tangent, is Russian roulette. If you keep pulling the trigger, if you play that game lots of times, I can tell you the outcome, and it's not 1 out of 6. it's complete death, right? So when things are like Russian roulette, like you can't use that. Okay, so I think it's useful to say that though, because when people are like, because these are the kinds of things you think, or people tell you to think. Well, how will the company grow over the next 3 years? Do you think it'll grow? What's the chance it'll grow or be more valuable? What's the chance the economy will be such that you'll get more offers to sell? What's the chance that the economy is stagnant or lower because of an overhang of blah, 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 and you won't? What are those probabilities? Of course, nobody knows, but you can sometimes you try to guess and do these like scenario planning, right? Try to put little weights on them. Besides the fact that the weights are invented and probably bullshit already, still, like, we're back to the ergodic problem. But it's not going to be the group average of all that. One thing is going to happen, and it could be bad. Are you sure you want to do that? So let's change the box problem again. 5 million in box A. Box B has 0 or 50 million. Still 50-50 though. Well, depends on where your freedom line is. Because if I haven't made that much money yet, the idea of getting to 5 in the bank, or you call 10, whatever you'd like to, set some line, it could be that there's no number in that box B that I would take. None. It could be 0 to 1 billion. I still wouldn't take it because I'd rather have like that freedom line amount of money in the bank than 0. Could be. I mean, look, everyone's different. Again, the point of the box is for you to find out what you want to do, how you want to think about risk and reward, right? It's not like there's one right answer. It's for you to do that, because then it helps you make the decision. Oh, it turns out I want to do the safe thing, the sure thing. Oh, okay, well then do the sure thing. No, it turns out I'm actually okay with the current situation. So I want to roll that 0 to whatever. I want to roll that die because actually I'm fine with the current. I want to take on that risk. Oh, great. Look, we figured that out. So the point of the box game is to try to figure out where your head is at in terms of risk and reward. You can also, of course, play with numbers, make them more realistic for your situation. It's just a simplification to find out what you think by eliminating all this other real but complicating factors.